This guy writes me and says, I'm 24 and I've been out dating a little more lately, but I don't know what I want out of it. How do you know when to keep playing the field versus going the relationship route? How do I go about dating differently in those two routes? Sometimes girls ask some more ambiguous versions of the what are you looking for question. I don't mean the different question, the what are we want. He says, I feel the FOMO of committing to someone really cool, but still missing out on possible girls, better girls down the line, or if I might miss out on a possibly great relationship, and I don't know how I should go about dating with that in mind. I also have a couple new dates lined up this week, so I'm trying to find the right mindset to go into with these questions in mind. All right. I like this question, and I especially like it because I as a 41-year-old guy, right, I had these same questions back in my 20s, like, oh, if I meet a great girl now and we have a good relationship and we're solid, but like, how will I know for sure if that's the one versus if there's others out there? I can tell you as a guy that's older, that you can find better, but there will also be a point where you find that better. And then if you pass that up, other girls will come along that will not match that better. And it sucks that a lot of the stuff is in hindsight. But I will say this, is that if you have certain principles that you're dating for, or certain characteristics, I'll say, that you're looking for in a woman, and you happen to meet up with her and she's attractive, she's pretty, she gives you the kind of hookups that you like, she knows how to talk to you, she makes you laugh, she does the things that you need in your life to function in a relationship. Like you might not be a guy, for example, that needs a woman that's going to stay home and cook and clean, but you might be a guy that needs that kind of stuff. But whatever is on your map list, right? Let's say you have a list of, we'll say like 10 things you want in a woman, right? And when you're dating, as you're dating more women, you'll find one girl that checks like 5 of the boxes. You're like, oh man, 5 boxes, that's amazing. And then you'll meet another girl that checks like 6 or 7 of those boxes. Like, ooh, these boxes. And then you'll find some boxes you have on your list, you realize you don't actually need those anymore, that they actually don't really do anything for you in the long term of a relationship. But the point is that you'll eventually meet a girl that checks off like 7, maybe like 8 of your boxes. And at that point, you have a choice. And the choice is, man, like she's pretty, she's attractive, she does all blah, 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 blah. She doesn't do this and this though. Do I really need those things? And also, what are the chances of me getting those things from another woman, but not getting the other 8 things that this girl brings to the table? And I'm telling you guys, as pretty and as well-mannered as we think most women are, I'm going to tell you now, the majority of women out there aren't going to be able to fill up your list as much as you think. Like, you're going to be dating a girl, for example, and think, oh, but there's a girl over there that's prettier or cooks better or has the curvage that I like, right? And you're going to think because she has that 1 or 2 things that you like, she's going to have all these other things. And then you're going to go over, so you're going to get rid of this girl to go over there and date this other girl and realize, oh, she only has 3 of the things. Oh my God. And trust me, that happens quite often. So what I would say is this, is that if you're 24, dude, you're 24, I'd say spend a good like year or 2 years just dating. Like go out on dates with people. And you know, the nice thing about women is that this goes back to what Doc Love used to say, kitty cats compete, because guys think that you need to be dating one woman at a time or else other women are going to get mad. And what I'm telling you is that if you're on the straight and narrow with women and you tell them straight out the bat, hey, just so you know, like right now, I am dating to try to find that eventual one, but right now I'm just dating for fun and just to have a good time. And hopefully in the process of doing that, I'll find my person. It could be you or somebody else. Like that's the mindset you want to have, because ultimately, like, women control when sex happens and men control relationships. Corey Wayne says that all the time, so I'm stealing that from him. But yeah, women control when sex happens, men control when relationships happen. And so a woman that is highly interested in you is going to want to be chosen by you. And the best thing about that is if they have really high interest, they don't care when they get chosen. They just want to be chosen. So if you tell a girl, you know, hey, I really like you and I want to date you and see you, but I got to be honest, I'm trying to date to find that one person. So I want to date you and take you out, but you might not be the only person that I'm doing that with. And until I get to a time when we agree on seriousness, that's what I'm doing. Plenty of women I found will go along with that plan. All right. Now, with that said, at any given time, let's say you're dating like 4 or 5 women, right? In the process of dating these 4 or 5 women, you're going to have one that checks off like 2 of the boxes. You have another one that checks off like 8 of the boxes, one that checks off 7 of the boxes. Then maybe the one that was doing 8 boxes goes down to just like 6 boxes. Like it'll be a toss up, right? But that's why you're dating to see how consistent these women are in the boxes that they're checking for you, right? At the point where you realize, okay, you know what? Of these 5 women, like this one over here is really like showing the most promise. Then again, you still don't go to her, ask for a relationship, but you can decide to just cut off the other 4 women and then just date her until she comes to you and says, hey, so what are we? At which point you are now in a relationship. Now, here's the other thing. just because you say yes to being in a relationship with this one person doesn't mean you should assume that that is now the person you have to be with long term, because this person that you're with could still mess it up. Like everything could be going great the first 3 to 6 months, and then it gets down to like, say, a year and a half in, and she starts tripping over some stuff, or you guys start having more and more arguments, or you realize like maybe the way you guys want to parent in the future isn't the same, or you want to move to some state and she wants to stay in the state that she's in. Like, these things will realistically come up in the span of a year or 2 year long relationship. If that happens, then you just have the mindset of like, okay, I want this to work out, but that doesn't mean that it has to work out. And I'm going to put my all in to see this. I'm going to put my all in as best as possible in hopes that this is going to work out. But in the back of your head, always have like, but if this isn't really going to be something that I see long term, then ultimately, even if it's going to hurt her and me in the moment, it's not going to be fair to her or me long term to continue this. All right. And this goes back to also having an abundant mindset. If you're a guy that has an abundant mindset and just wholeheartedly believes that any woman out there will be lucky to have you, and that if this one doesn't work out, then you can find somebody else, then you won't be so stuck on the idea that the woman you're dating in front of you has to work, because the reality is that it doesn't have to work. Like, I know in this culture, we get caught up on romance and flowering, like, oh, I met my end all be all person. There's only one soulmate for every person. If you go and believe in that, you may end up stuck in a situation that you're trying to make work that's not supposed to work, because you're thinking they're supposed to be the one. I got news for you, guy. She does not have to be the one. No matter how much love you have for each other, the reality is this person either is going to die eventually, or it's not going to work out, and you're going to dump her or she's going to dump you. In either case, you need to have the idea that you have the skill set and you are the type of person that would fit a variety of women, including hopefully the one that's in front of you. But if not, there's others out there. All right. So you go into the mind frame of dating as though you're not trying to nail this particular person down, but you're trying to really examine them and explore them and see what they're about, and see if, based on the things you guys talk about and experience together, if they could be a fit. If not, it's perfectly fine at any time to say, this isn't working for me, and it's on to the next person. But I think so many guys don't have enough options to where they think that if I go on these dates, if this first date with this girl works and I feel it, oh my gosh, she's got to be my person. And then they feel like they're going to get stuck in that with that one situation. And you don't have to. Like, you really can, if you have an abundant mindset, have a bevy and variety of the types of women that will agree to dating you because you're a great guy in the first place. All right. So have more positivity about yourself. Be more open-minded about the idea that a variety of women will fit you, and don't be afraid to think that if you get into a relationship, you're going to miss out on other people also, because you could also be missing out on getting into a great relationship with somebody that could work out long-term. You just don't know, right? But really do as much examining as possible in those first 3 to 6 months of dating, because I'll tell you one thing for sure. At the point where you pick the right person, that really, it's that weird feeling of like, it just feels like you ultimately both connect on these variety of levels to where you don't have the desire anymore to even seek out other people. Now, this still doesn't mean that doesn't mean this could completely go bad, but ideally you're going to be feeling that feeling. And so I just say, go with your gut. If you're going out with a girl, you're having a great time, great conversations, but you're just not quite feeling that thing that says that this is ultimately going to last, that's totally fine. And sometimes you'll get it wrong, and sometimes you'll get it right, and that's absolutely great. But like, let that feeling guide you of like, I'm feeling a thing, or, we all have intuition. So even if the girl's hot as heck and you're thinking, oh, she's so hot, I'm so lucky to be able to bang her, but really look at like intuition. How's her family life? How does she talk about guys? Like, am I really looking at that stuff versus just how hot she is? And if you're not, then recognize that and get out of the whole hotness factor. So then I'll tell you, at 20, any woman you meet is going to be hot. When they get to their 40s and 50s and their looks start to fade, you got to talk to this person still. You got to be able to connect with them. And if that connection is not there, and you just got with her for her hotness, then you're going to lose out. Because I'm going to tell you now, even the hottest of hot women in their 20s, even if they're still looking relatively pretty at like 40, 45, it's not going to compare to women in their 20s. It's just not. And so you can't base your decision for a woman solely on that. All right. So hopefully in the cluster that I've said of all that thing, that helps you out. All right. You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high class man. You a high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class